My name is Sam.
And I'm Erica. Welcome to the Crossing the Region River podcast.
So today we are diving deeper into if communities have all these strengths, then what is our role as development workers?
That's one of the most famous questions students ask. Actually, every time we introduce the 4 models, students begin to think about how they are irrelevant. How sometimes we've been forcing ourselves into communities where, they don't need us. Do we pack up? Do we close our organizations and go because we are not needed? Do we stop teaching them how to fish? That's a good one. How can we fish with them? Maybe they don't need fishing. Those are some of the questions we need to think about. What is our role in the community? And when do we come in? When do we step in? That's what we'll be talking about today. Yeah.
So we are asking ourselves, when do we exactly come in?
Yeah.
So that's what we want to delve deep into. And yes, go ahead and share with us. So where is the point when we are needed as a development workers?
Yeah, I think the first thing first is to look at some of the common mistakes we make. I think every time I think about why we are even asking this question, sometimes it's because we are worried. Some of us, our entire organizations have been built on the fact that these communities need us, quote unquote.
Without us, they can't do anything.
They can't do anything. Those are the stories we've shared. And to some extent, the communities we are serving, the people we're serving have begun to believe that they cannot survive without us. So sometimes it's us who are afraid, who feel like, how are these people going to live without us? If I leave this community, how are they going to be? So it's important to address that idea. We call it paternalism, that idea of saying, I have to do the things for these people. Unless I'm not there, these things cannot happen. So there are certain common mistakes we make when it comes to working with people. And what I found it's on the leader side. Because remember the statement about the community is going to take you the way you present yourself.
Yes.
So they will take you as a savior if you come in as a savior. They will take you as a partner if you come in as a partner. They will work if you support. So depending on how you work in the community, that's how they're going to take you.
And it should also be noted that it's not because you have bad intentions.
Exactly.
You just don't know how to do it right.
Exactly.
And then you end up making those mistakes.
Nobody starts out saying, I'm going to do a bad thing to the people. So keep your heart, but we need to learn how to do it well. Like, how can we do it better? Yeah. And good intentions, some are not good enough. We need to do it well. It's about impact, not just the good intentions.
So that our good intentions do not hurt the people.
Exactly.
What are some of those mistakes? Do you want to share with us?
Yeah, the first mistake is actually the rule of thumb for the ABC. If you forget anything, is just do not do for the people what they can do for themselves.
That's
if they can
awesome.
Sweep, let them sweep. Don't go and
do
sweep.
not do for the people what they can do for themselves.
So until you understand everything they can do for themselves, your place is if they invite you, then you step in to do what they cannot do.
Only when you're needed.
Only when needed.
And when they feel they actually need you.
Exactly. Sometimes they might not invite you. Someone is worried. Actually, we'll talk about it when we're talking about the steps. If you have been in that community and doing a good thing, they will know you. They will identify you. We need each other. It's not like there's no community that can chase any person doing a good thing in the community. The only challenge is if we are leading and forcing the communities to do things that they
haven't bought into themselves.
So the common mistake number 1 is believing that we know better. This is the knowledge paternalism. I have studied this program. This project is research backed. I know it has worked in this country. We are implementing it in China. We're implementing it in Kigali. We're implementing it.
And it was successful.
It was successful. I know it works. Technology, I'm an expert. I've studied Uganda for 6 months. In the story I shared. I know this is how the people behave. When this and this happens, this is what happens. But then we forget. Remember one of the key principles, citizen driven.
Yes.
that the citizens are the experts.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much knowledge, no matter how long you will try to understand. Even if you spend 1 week doing a needs analysis, there's so many, it's like so many parts of that community you will never be able to go to. Their history you will never understand because you've never lived it. That is knowledge that the community has. Communities have more knowledge than us. They are best placed to provide solutions.
Yeah, that's powerful. And once you have that at the back of your mind, it definitely changes how you treat people.
Yeah, exactly. It's not our solutions that are the best. In fact, we need to...
And we are not the experts.
We are not the expert. Sometimes we need to look at our solutions. Is this really... It's very few times, actually, that we question our solutions. I know as someone who is leading an organization, we can be so passionate about our approaches.
Yes.
That sometimes we don't want anyone to criticize them or look at them. You know, even in my case, I'm so passionate about ABCD. Sometimes people criticize it and I'm like, no, it works. But I know that sometimes there are challenges with it too. Yeah.
Is there any other mistake that...
Yeah. It's similar to the first. I'm not believing that people are capable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would share stories of sometimes people come and maybe you're going to build a house for someone in a community. A poor person. A poor person. And we go to that community in a household where there are young people, there's a mother and the father and the children. And we do everything for them. Nobody steps up. They are sitting on the sidelines and you guys are carrying stones and doing everything. They're literally sitting and doing nothing. So we think, oh, they're poor, they have nothing, but God has blessed them with hands. Probably his livelihood depends on him carrying stones for someone else.
But now because you're building a house, he cannot do it. Stone.
Why? Because we have believed these are so poor, there is nothing they can do to contribute.
Yeah.
But then the trick here, ABCD is not about telling them, you contribute when they don't want to. It's about getting them into the sense of saying, what are the gifts you have? How do you want to use them? So that's the process. It's not forcing people to do something.
No. They have to have that initiative and drive.
Exactly. How do you tap into that initiative? How do you steer it up? Yeah.
Don't you think that now brings in the question of people with disabilities?
Yeah.
Don't you think sometimes people disregard them?
Yeah. Actually, if you look at how people with disabilities are supposed to be defined, one thing I realized is that disability is more than impairment. Impairment is the thing that prevents you from doing something, and disability is the environment that is created around you. That's as a result of your impairment, you're not able to access things, you're not able to get education and do that. And sometimes I think the idea of disability is created by people around. The impairment is real.
That's amazing.
But the disabilities are emphasized by people surrounding.
The people actually create around them, create the disabilities.
Exactly. Say, you cannot do this, or we cannot do this, you should not, instead of creating ways in which they can also access the same opportunities. So you find that continuous repetition, you repeat to them every day. You cannot do it. They begin to believe. So you are reinforcing that disability.
And yet there are other things they are able to do.
Yeah.
So they have some
they have abilities. They have an impairment, but they don't have, their entire life is not a disability.
That's amazing.
So that's really something. And one thing I found, even when we're working with leaders here in the program, the ALI program, this is a tough topic because for many of them, we feel sorry for people with disabilities. And so we can't imagine that we want to allow them to do things for themselves. But remember, how have they been living before you got to that community? Sometimes the biggest question when we're working with people with disabilities is, can they get to the place that training holds without transportation, without facilitation? And I told them, how do they go around every day? Tap into what has been existing in that community and find them where they are. One of the ways of you creating access is going to them so that they don't have to come to you. And then you work with them in their lived environment, place-based. Because in their lived environment, they have figured out how to move from one place to another.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any other mistakes that we commit in the process of
It is because of me that this community has transformed. Before organization came to this, they could not. I was having a conversation with a leader I really like, and I just listened. She said, there is no other organization in this community that is making the impact that
like we do. Yeah.
Taking the success, being responsible for it. But had the people not participated in this, we would not be successful.
Exactly.
Very few times is the success given to the people who have worked. Even if we are teaching them how to fish, those who have actually fished, that's success.
That's our success.
Yeah, it's ours, theirs. Actually, one of the key things in ABCD is for you never to speak about yourself as much. For the community to be so proud of what they have done themselves, that they feel dignified. And there are so many stories, like you go to a community where everybody has repeated to them how they are not capable. And
they've had it over
and over again. But when they do things for themselves, you'll be surprised. They see themselves as capable. They begin to say, I did this with my friend. We came together. We built this. And they speak of it as their own success. So that's a big mistake we make.
So the biggest mistakes we make in a way of trying to help is that we think we know better.
Yeah. The other one we talked about is not believing in their abilities. We don't believe they're not capable. We take their success. Then the final one where we confuse activity with impact.
Confusing activity with impact.
The more we do, we need to do more. There is no food. Let's go and take food to this community. There is no, let's do this, let's do that. And the more we do that, the more we are taking the space of the people and the more they are stepping out and letting us do.
The more we limit the impact that we can cause. Because unless they do it themselves, then our impact is limited.
Exactly, because impact is long-term.
So, Erica, what's our role then?
We play a big role, Sam, in the community, but it's different. It's a background role. We're like a mirror in the community, where we hold out a mirror so that the people in the community can see what they're able to do. Not do it for them and tell them, you can do this, you can do that, or bring a solution that is already there as fixers. So our biggest role is to cheer on the community and support them from the sidelines to identify, by holding up that mirror, to identify what they're good at.
I like that knowledge of a mirror.
Yeah.
So like you've never seen yourself actually. So here is what you can do. Here is who you are.
Exactly.
And what you are capable of.
And what we do in the ABCD process is that we lead them through processes. The first one is we act as facilitators. We lead them through processes where they begin to identify. The mirror is like the process itself. They begin to identify what those things are. What are we good at? Each and every individual here has the gifts of the head, heart, and hands. Remember the 6 assets we talked about. Help them to identify all the assets, associations, institutions, the stories, their history, everything that they have, the economic activities. So we run processes where the communities then decide, these are our assets. After they have identified those assets, they decide what they care most about. Not what I care about. Not the solution that I came with. So sometimes you might go with a solution in the back of your mind, and when they come up with solutions, it's not on the top 10 list.
Amazing.
Imagine.
So it's like actually waking up the village.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not on the top 10, but then the community ends up doing things that matter for them. I think one thing I never spoke about earlier is that every community we go to cares about something.
Yes.
There's no way that a mother whose child is hungry does not feel the pain. Sometimes we really underestimate the cares that communities have. And when we are very themed, we might underestimate what they care about by trying to force them to care about what we care about. So, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The most basic at the bottom is what? The needs.
Yes.
But some of us, our programs, the basic.
Yeah.
On the second level, the psychological. So we try to get them higher than where they are.
Yes.
So we build those projects where we think they are basic needs when they are not basic needs. So we set up these programs. For example, we teach them a skill, we give them the funding, but they're struggling to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So what happens is that they sell those things we have given them so that they can buy.
They meet their needs.
And if it was you, Sam, and your child was sick and you had money for capital that somebody gave you,
I would do the same.
What you would do that.
Yeah.
So we always blame communities because we don't allow them to meet what they care most about by pushing them with an agenda that we have. Instead of allowing them to make choices. Sometimes
and then they end up switching it.
Exactly.
The purpose for which you intended, and then they meet their own needs.
Yeah, but everything is interconnected. If you allow them to meet those things, and one thing is they are going to use their own resources.
Yeah.
Does it hurt you if someone is meeting health and they are meeting this, you are not paying for it, they are paying for it?
Yes.
Then later on, when they have met those needs, now they can say, oh, wow, there is some organization that does education. Can we partner with them so that they can support us? Wow. So they always find a way of getting back to you.
So that's a phase you reach and you feel like, then I need to step back.
Yeah, you need to step back.
Yeah.
First, they work on their own solutions. Next, they invite you as partners into the community. They identify you as an asset. You're an institutional asset.
Yes.
So you partner with them, not by leading with your solution, finding what's working and partnering with them. So if 5 of them have come up with education and you're working in education, then you can work with those teams and co-create a way to improve it. So it's them playing a role and you play a role with your organization to scale what they are doing.
Yeah.
When you leave, they can continue because they have already been doing it. You found
ownership.
them.
They have already participated in bringing it up.
Then you step back so that they can implement it. You can't be there every day doing things for them. And that's the hardest part. But for me, it's my favorite part.
Letting it go?
Yes, to not be needed. I love it. How can I be in a place forever? Because like Jesus, we have to go and make disciples of many nations. We cannot make disciples and stay with the disciples for the rest of our life.
So by stepping back from this community, then you can be able to, when it's fully empowered, then you can go and help
others. You can scale.
And work with others and scale. Although that's very tough for many organizations, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is quite tough for many organizations. And I remember.
Why is that?
Many reasons, Sam.
Yeah.
I think one of the first reasons is our fear. I think there's a book called Playing God. Have you read that book?
No.
Playing God. Some of us, I think there's something within us. We feel good when we do something and people clap for us. It's a normal instinct of every human being. And our fear of not ever being relevant, feeling like I'm not important if I'm not doing anything for these people. Some of us find it might be a challenge we have that we have to do something so that people can clap for us.
Yeah.
Another thing, we fear that how are we going to fundraise when we are saying we're not doing things for these people, they are doing things for themselves. So there are many fears that are there. And I remember a story in my own story. I was trying to get a visa in Rwanda. I'm originally from Burundi. So I had to go and visit the communities we were working with. And I needed them to tell a testimony about how I've been working with them. I remember I stepped back from the community. And so the immigration officer asks the community. I took them, they explained ABCD, this is how she's been helping, changing our lives. And then the immigration officer said, when was the last time you saw her? And I was like, oh, they're going to chase me out of this country.
Yeah.
Why? Because I stepped back. Actually, what I did was to step back so that this community, we step back, does it themselves. And they responded, the community members responded and said, she's not here every day, but everything she's taught, we learned, we do. She told us to do things for ourselves, and that's what we are doing.
Wow.
And I was like, if they chase me...
In other words, we do not need her anymore.
Exactly.
We have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt like if they chased me, or I didn't get, no one was going to chase me, of course. But if they asked me to leave the country, those communities were going to stay.
They would still continue.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, I think in this community, my job is complete. I should move on to the next one.
Shouldn't that be the dream of every leader?
It should.
Seeing the work they start continue even after them.
Yeah.
For us as leaders or community leaders, the best way is to work ourselves out of what we are doing. So today, we learned that in ABCD, our role is not to fix, but facilitate. It's not to rescue, but to release. And it's not to direct, but to create space for leadership. The community takes leadership by themselves.
And in our next episode, it all becomes real because we'll be talking about how we can go about to implement the ABCDs slowly, a few interventions, how you prepare your organization to do it. And I'll give a few tips about how you can start so that it can be a process you practice.
Thank you for joining us. For more episodes, please visit our website on chromebooker.org/podcast. Thank you.